Welcome to Holy Island! And today, spawning in the northwest corner of the map, we've got Minecraft Pro Gamer playing in teal as the Holy Roman Empire. Now this guy is also Beastyqt. You may know him by that name. We'll call him Beastyqt, that's his famous name. And his opponent today in the southeast, we've got Loser playing in orange, also known as Kilkardi, playing as the Holy Roman Empire. Welcome everyone to this Age of Empires forecasted game on a very interesting water map. I guess hybrid map really, but I mean generally water is so important on Holy Island, and we've got a Holy Roman Empire mirror match. Now I tend to not really enjoy casting mirror matches, but something's interesting about this map and something interesting about the civilization is that, well, things get going quite quickly. The Holy Roman Empire getting the prelate, boosting up the gather speed of inspired villages by 40% means that the eco gets running quite quickly, and so you often get quite a lot of action early. And yeah, I'm excited for this one too. Very fantastic players of Age of Empires 4. We've casted a couple of games with these two players playing, and they've been bangers before. They've been great games. So we'll see how this one goes. Now, I'll take this opportunity to say that I've really enjoyed and appreciated the support that you guys have been giving me on the channel so far. And things have really taken off, really, generally, from a personal level. But also, I've actually managed to obviously upgrade my PC. We're going to be casting in 4K. And more importantly, actually, specifically for this video, you may have noticed it, the audio is different. I feel like I've upgraded it. I mean, I haven't really changed anything apart from settings, but I've been playing around with it, and I think it's better. I think it's an upgrade. I am guided by you guys though, so you need to let me know. But comparing like this audio level, this kind of mic setup, the the bass side of things and how it sounds, I need to know from you guys whether you like this kind of casting voice versus what I've had before on the channel, or whether you maybe prefer the voice from other videos. So let me know in the comment section below. In particular, to make it more easier for you guys, if you actually like the voice you're hearing on this casted game, drop a 1 in the comment section below. If you don't like it or you prefer the voice on the other videos that I've been casting, drop a 2 in the comment section below. I'd love to hear what you guys think. The feedback's super important, because obviously, I mean, I personally like it, but it really depends what you guys feel as well. Now let's just get back into the casted game, because whilst not much has happened so far, it will start to ramp up. Now, small differences and mirror matches can make all the difference. And let's talk about the dock and the distance from the fish. I mean, it's pretty good fishing actually. It's not that far away. We've seen a lot worse. And same thing for Beastie, really. It's pretty much identical on that front. In terms of gold spawns, well, Beastie's one's out to the side. There's a nice deer pack there. If you can maybe get an outpost, this could be a nice prominent position to protect. I mean, the deer's not all that important, to be honest, because if he's going to be planning to win the game, he's probably going to want to win the water, right? Now the gold is a little bit more exposed for Kilkardi. I mean, it's fairly similar, but I think this is a lot better to be able to run back to the town center for Beastie. Not by a lot, but these things can make a difference. And well, let's talk about fishing ships. So far, 5 of them for Beastie, and only 4 of them for Kilkardi. Now we did spot earlier, whilst I was talking, that actually Beastie had more villagers on wood, and is boosting them up with the prelate, and that's going to be funding the more fishing ships. Now that can really escalate, so I'm a little bit worried for Kilkardi on this one. But we'll see. Obviously, these are early stages of the game. I can see that obviously Kilkardi looks like he's going to be on the way to feudal age, maybe a little bit quicker than Beastie. And I think obviously Beastie is continuing to invest in those fishing ships. Now, neither player have got any production buildings just yet. No Dark Age rushing going on. No real surprises there. Sometimes, like on hybrid maps like this, you can see one player going for like spearmen, or in this case, well, it would have to be spearmen, really. Actually, I'm not sure. Did the Holy Roman ever get spearmen in the Dark Age? I have to double check that. I can't remember off the top of my head right now. But an Ark and Chapel placement on the berries and the deer, on the berries and the sheep rather, and the wood line in a nice spot, which will obviously wood is so important on this map, and I suspect Beastie will do the same. Whilst he's got his gold here, I think he's going to be moving the Ark and Chapel probably here. Pretty much symmetrical map actually. Generation. It's pretty fair. I can't really argue about that. Speaking of sheep though, well, he's got 19 of them there, Kilkardi. Definitely a nice number. Almost double than what Beastie's got. So Beastie's got he's got to win the water, right? He has to at this point. Not that 10 sheep will necessarily make the big game changer, but it is a big deal on many maps. Maybe not so much Holy Island, because you got to win the water, right? But 2 docks now have been built for Beastie, so he's getting ready for that feudal age kind of production of military ships that we probably expect to see quite soon. And will Kilkardi go into the feudal age first? Well, will he get a galley out nice and early and try and attack the waters? I hope so, because really that could be his window to win the game. The early aggression can sometimes pay off, but the trouble with Holy Island as well, sometimes necessarily getting the feudal age a little bit quicker is not that big a deal. because it does take a while to actually get across the map, right? It's quite a long way away. And by the time you get there, you know, your opponent's probably going to get to the feudalage and has the defender's advantage in terms of production, at least anyway. But all things staying the same, well, Beasty's going to be rushing that up now. Just sent a couple more villagers to get the Ark and Chapel up and running. I mean, you got to recognize that, you know, you don't want to be in the Dark Age for too long, at least compared to your opponent anyway. The Ark and Chapel now is being boosted with a prelate inside. Alright, well, Beasty's going to get to the feud age pretty soon now. There it is. And let's take a look at the economy. 10 fishing ships. Only 6 for kilkardi. That's a little bit of a concern. Like 4 fishing ships at this stage of the game is actually really significant. He's going to go for the 3rd dock. And it's not as if he's... oh, there he is. Okay. I was about to say it's not as if he's pressuring, but that's exactly what he's doing now. Now, the good thing for Beasty and the docks is that he can obviously garrison the fishing ships like he did just there. So it's unlikely he will lose anything. But now that he's second to the feudalage, I wouldn't be surprised to see a springald ship coming out, right? I was actually going to go for a galley first. And this has got to be... yeah, this is a springald ship, which you'd expect because, of course, that is what counters the galley. The galley's countered by the springald ship ship's countered by the demo ship, and the demo ship is countered by the galley. A couple of man-at-arms from both players, just trying to be a bit aggressive, trying to pressurize the gold. Now, kilkardi did beat Beasty to it to get there. And it's going to be a lot of man-at-arms versus man-at-arms, I guess. It's 2 of them for kilkardi. He's going to push that one for Beasty away from that gold. He needs to try and deny the gold for as long as possible because that's actually quite key on many reasons. Not only does it inhibit the production of man-at-arms, but also the springald ships. They do indeed cost gold. 30 gold, as you can see. And here comes forward a springald ship, a Hulk, for kilkardi himself. Now, he is behind on economy because of the fishing ship numbers. And I'm a little bit worried about that because things do escalate on that front, right? Like, it's been quite a few minutes now that kilkardi has been behind. 6 economy units. It's really significant. And it means that obviously Beasty can spread out villages on other resources, namely gold. And he's going to get an outpost and commit to, yeah, basically committing to the outpost just to protect that position. Needs to make sure he doesn't lose on land for sure, and then maybe just win on water. But yeah, I mean, it's an interesting map. There's sort of options available for both players as well, like land trade. Sea trade is an option. I mean, we don't see it all that often on this map, but because often people just win or die within a couple of minutes, within sort of 20 minutes to half an hour on this map. It's very aggressive. I feel like on this map there's like a timing window. Like in the initial stages, you never really lose the game within the next the first 10-15 minutes, but the small differences in the first 10-15 minutes can really pay and just show themselves in the later sort of 20-minute mark, the 30th minute mark. And well, we'll see if that's the case today. Trying to harass on the east side. We'll get through the palisade walls. Didn't get up in time there for Beasty. The wood line is under pressure. Loses a villager. I don't think he has textiles. He doesn't. And now he's going to have to be forced into an outpost. So good early aggression from kilkardi with those man-at-arms. I mean, he could potentially take this fight, to be honest. Going to try and commit to the man-at-arms at the outpost a bit further close to the wood line. The man-at-arms for kilkardi would do well to try and attack the villagers if he can. Get another villager or 2. Or he pulled away the 2 man-at-arms with that single man-at-arm. Nice work there by kilkardi. Nice micro. Villagers garrison inside. Beastyqt doing well to garrison the weak villager in particular. And the prelate is going to come out to heal. He might just fight this, actually. I mean, he's got to get wood, right? The problem for Beasty, he's got a lot of idle villagers. Now, his eco was stronger, but he's lost a bit. He's lost the prelate as well, which is really significant. And it means that Beasty will need to train another prelate, which means, obviously, less time producing villagers. He's taking the fight. Now, I think eventually, obviously, he will clear this up. But at what cost? He's already lost 7 villagers. At least 7 eco units. On water, well, kilkardi is pushing forward a little bit with 2 springald ships. Well, 3 springald ships and a galley. And the demo ship there for Beasty might do a lot of damage. kilkardi not backing off in time. I think the speed for the... oh, does he get it? The demo ship doesn't quite land there for Beasty. And now kilkardi might smell blood. But the thing is, you can't really just push so easily on water. I think water in Age of Empires 4 is a really tricky situation. Like, you really got to outmass your opponent hugely. Because water really favors the defender's advantage, right? Now, Beasty is nowhere near off water. Nowhere near. Not with 3 docks. I mean, if anything, kilkardi needs to back away now. He does snipe a galley, which is actually really huge there, picking off a ship for free. But I mean, he can't really stand in a fight here because our fishing ships have a Beasty repairing, right? So he's got to be careful not to lose numbers. Now, the thing about water is you must make sure you keep your ships alive for as long as possible. Because if you lose them, you really start to get overwhelmed. 3 man-at-arms on the east side there for Beasty. Going to start to push off the wood line. It forces kilkardi into an outpost, which will go up, but the man-at-arms might try and target that weak villager there potentially. We shall see. Beastie, will he click and spot that? He doesn't yet. Oh, he does now. He's going straight for it. Well, kilkardi notices it as well. Trying to back off now. Should survive and should live. I think it almost feels like he's got wheelbarrow, but it doesn't. And now the man at arms threat has been taken care of. Beastyqt still hasn't got those walls up, but there's no real threat coming in from that direction. And I just wonder whether the threat on water will start to build up for either player. A lot of villagers on gold. I just wonder, with this number of villagers on gold, whether Beastie might be thinking about going to the castle age. It would be very risky to do that, I think. It would be very greedy at this stage. I don't think he has enough to defend. I suspect not. Maybe just kind of gathering for a rainy day, who knows, with the gold. And might be used to fund springald ships, to be fair. So that could be quite potential usage of that gold. And it does look like it's producing some springald ships. But he's not producing from all three docks at this stage. Manatom's going to dive in on that wood line again, just to keep a bit of idle time on those villagers, keeping them honest. And he's going to keep the gold safe here, kilkardi. Now, the nice thing for kilkardi is because he's done so much damage, he's killed 10 eco units. He's actually not that far behind Beastie now. He was quite a lot more behind, but he's caught up slightly here. The Navy's starting to build up for both players. I think the way the game's going, it almost feels like there's going to be a big fight on water. And that might be just what decides this game on Holy Island. As you can see, Beastie really doubling down. He wants to win the water, make sure he get that fishing economy. He's investing in extended lines, which will increase the gather rate of fishing ships by plus 20%, and carrying capacity is increased by plus 10. It's really quite significant, as we talk about significance as well. Bit of fighting happening on the gold. Beastyqt's man-at-arms not really doing anything effective, just running around like headless chickens. And he's going to back away there. On the east side, well, it looks like kilkardi, he's got a lot more on land, right? But the concern is for kilkardi is that, looking at the numbers, if he's got more on land than Beastie, then that means Beastyqt's got more on water. And losing water is a big deal. But we will see, because he's dishing out damage, trying to get a man-at-arms there. That's on the retreat. I'm not sure if he quite gets it in the end. He does manage to snipe it. Woodline has been kept idle here, which is not ideal, because you need that wood for the fishing ships, as well as the the military ships. Now it looks like kilkardi is going to go to the castle age first, and that's going to give a signal to Beastyqt to maybe to push on water, because of course you've got to spend those resources. Like, to get to the next stage is quite a large investment, and I think if you can read the game here at this point, kilkardi's got a lot of military presence on land. He's teched up to the next age, which Beastie hasn't quite scouted out, but once he does spot it, or at least if he finds out when the tech up is complete, that might give him the signal to attack on water, right? Because he can only do so much. Like, he can't tech up to the next stage, you can't invest in so much in land units, and have a huge navy at the same time. Not unless you're cheating, so that's not going to happen. So he's got a large army on land, he's teched up to the next stage. That must mean his water's quite weak. That's what, how you could interpret the game. As we see a lot of villagers going down on the woodline. 14 villagers have been killed, but I think the thing is that the three docks for Beastie, they've been working hard, and the economy is still ahead for Beastie, and that's not really what you want to see as a statistic, rather, if you're kilkardi. Like, you've done a lot of damage, you want to be ahead, right? Now he's gone for the Burger of Palace, and it feels like kilkardi now wants to swarm on land. We'll see. He's gone for the Burger of Palace, going to be producing man-at-arms, but the trouble is, if he does that, that means he's not going to be able to produce as much on water. Like, he's teched up to the next stage relatively early on this map, considering especially his opponent Beastie is still in the feudal age, and he's got a lot of military presence. Now, he does have that castle age upgrade, but the numbers here for Beastie are not too terrible. The concern for kilkardi is that when you tech up to the next stage, you need to give it a competitive advantage. Beastie has access to man-at-arms in the feudal age. If he didn't, that would be much more of a problem, because it's very hard to counter castle age man-at-arms when you're in the feudal age. But if you've got your own man-at-arms, it's not as bad. But here comes a fight on water. I'm not sure kilkardi wants to fight this. He doesn't have enough numbers. So many demolition ships that could do so much damage. They're hiding in between the springald ships. Beastyqt waiting to pounce. They can't quite get through. They're being blocked by their own units there. I'm just so worried about those demo ships hitting a lot of those ships there for kilkardi. Demo one gets hot. Couple of galleys trying to pick them off, but it's hard to click on them, hard to micro. Demo ships, demos. Beastie's going to get a huge hit there with loads of the fishing ships under weak health, and well, he's doing damage more and more demo ships. I think he can land this. Another springald ship goes down, huge amounts of destruction, and slowly but surely Beastie's going to win the waters. A lot of weak units. I think Beastie just pounces on this. The navy has been taken care of on land, though. kilkardi pushing forward with the man-at-arms. He's taking the engagement, but there is castle age versus feudal age man-at-arms. Beastie's army will only be able to hold on for so long. It does get pushed back, but he's won water, Beastie, and that's the crucial thing. A demo ship does come up, does a lot of damage. Does he have arrow slits? He doesn't, and that's a problem. If kilkardi loses his dock, I'm afraid there's not going to be another way back on water. But the trouble is for Beasty, he might be losing on land, and all his landmarks are on land. If he can get a landmark snipe here, kilkardi, he does have a window of opportunity to win the game, but he's got to do it, and he's got to do it fast. Villagers coming up to God knows where. Wait, is he going to transport ship these guys? He's actually going to transport ship them. The only way to go is in the middle. Now there are 2 gold veins, which is actually quite significant, but we'll have to see what Beasty's plan is from there. He'll struggle to get food, but food really he would be struggling? No, he wouldn't, because he's got a lot of fishing. If he's won the water, his food is secured, his gold is secured in the middle island, and he might have exactly what he needs to get to the Imperial Age, right? Because he needs a landmark off of the main island. It's almost like he's abandoning ship. He's abandoning the island. Look at all these villagers. They're running away. They're just completely abandoning the main base, and now kilkardi should be able to take everything down, but he needs to take out the landmarks. Wait, is he going to go for the Imperial Age? He's got almost the resources to do so. kilkardi, he needs to recognize what's happening here, and I'm not sure that he does. He's lost water, so he won't be able to scout that out at all, but the villagers have mostly escaped. There's now 16 villagers that can get on the transport ship, which is kind of crazy. A lot of them here on the main island. He just needs to get the gold and get to that next stage. Palace of Swabian might be the option. But kilkardi, oh, emergency repairs. That is so huge. The emergency repairs is going to scupper the plans here for kilkardi to take out the landmarks. And Beasty just needs to buy time, right? He's already going up with the Palace of Swabian. I think he gets it in time. And that is absolutely huge. He's going to live to fight another day. Could there be a way back for him? It's completely off the main island. Now the thing is, trade could be a thing, right? Like, Beasty could trade on water. And the crazy thing is that the trade, well, let's think about resources, right? So he's got food, he's got gold, and he'll be able to get the sacred site as well for extra gold. The question is, where does he get wood from? Now, trust me, there's something crazy about Age of Empires 4 that I'm going to let you in on if you didn't know already. Whilst on this map there's lots of wood on the edges of the map, there is another way to grab wood on this map. And if you haven't figured it out yet, it's trade. Yep, exactly. So trade on this map will get you both gold and wood. It's something that's recently changed in Age of Empires 4. It used to only just be gold from traders. But now that he's got to Imperial Age, his landmark is safe in the middle of the map on the island. Oh wait. Okay, it wasn't Palace. He was still in the feudal age. Holy smokes. Okay, it's the Regnus Cathedral. He went up to the Castle Age. I just assumed for a second there that he was already there, but now he's got the Castle Age landmark. That makes it even rougher for kilkardi, to be honest, because it was only 2 landmarks that he needed to have taken. In any case, now that he does get to the Castle Age, he's got that landmark safe and secure. And the problem for kilkardi, actually, kind of crazily, there's still an opportunity for Beasty to win this game. Like, even though he's being hampered a lot on land here, as we said, there's no resource that Beasty can't gather. Like, he's got food, he's got gold, and he's going to be getting wood from the trade, which he has set up. No, he hasn't set up just yet, but I hope he recognizes that. I'm sure that he knows about it. But he might not, because it has been a recent update. But I think someone like Beastyqt would probably know this, because obviously he's got an insatiable thirst for the game, an insatiable, crazy amount of knowledge about how the game works and its mechanics. But certainly getting gold and wood from the trade is so important now. If he played this game, this match just a couple of months ago, it wouldn't have worked, because there was a time where trade only ever gathered gold. Now it's taking a lot of villagers here. kilkardi getting those villagers gathering wood, and I wonder whether kilkardi knows about the wood issue, because he's looking to try and snipe all the villagers on wood. There's a couple more villagers here on the north side. Now Beasty does need some wood initially for the traders, but here come the trade ships. Now that's 60 gold, 60 wood. That is not a joke. There's a lot of resources coming in for Beasty. He just needs to set them up, get a huge amount of those trade ships, and now he's going to be rocking and rolling with economy. There's nothing that he can't get. Quite literally. I mean, the food might run out in terms of fishing ships, and the other thing to consider is that Beastyqt can come back on the mainland whenever he wants, really. Because, like, unless kilkardi just maybe blocks it all off with stone walls or something and gets a wonder. Because I take it back, there is one resource that Beasty can't get, and that's stone. I would love to see kilkardi just get a lot of stone and try and just shore up the shoreline. Because that's the only way that Beasty can win, right? He can only win by coming back on the shoreline and docking it, well, kind of landing again on the mainland. If kilkardi can deny that, that would be huge. The other thing is that he can't win by Sacred Site at Kilkardi, because he's got the Sacred Site here, Beastie here, and he's got one relic as well with the Regus Cathedral. Or 2 relics, in fact. It's going to be huge. That's a lot of gold coming in. The village in the north going to be scattered out. Beastie surviving, keeping as many of those villages alive as possible. And behind this, though, Kilkardi does go to the Imperial Age. I suspect it's going to be with the Palace of Swabia. It's got to be, really. It is indeed the case. Now, he is behind on economy. That's the kind of crazy thing, though. Because, of course, Beastie practically has, like, the equivalent of 4 TCs. Well, 3 TCs, really, because, obviously, his main TC has actually been taken out, believe it or not. As we head into the 21st minute of the game, almost. Where does Kilkardi go from here, though? I think he's got to recognize that the only way that Beastyqt can win is just by blocking the shoreline. The only way that Beastie can win is by getting back on land, and yeah, we'll have to see. We'll have to see how this one pans out. Back at home, I should say, the new home. It's going to be the Palace of Swabia for Beastie, so he's not giving up at all just yet. And well, the village account is gonna be rising. I'm not sure he's going to be able to. I mean, does he even need more villagers at this point? Because he just needs more traders, right? Let's just see how many traders he's got. Don't forget, he's got 4 docks now. He's got 17 traders, getting 60 wood and 60 gold per minute. And I mean, the gold income for Beastie is actually a lot more at the moment for him than it is for Kilkardi. I guess at this point, it's just about waiting and watching and seeing when Beastie wants to re-land on the main island or not. I mean, he's definitely going to want to. Question is, I mean, could he even go for a wander? Imagine that. That would actually be kind of crazy if this ended up being a wander victory, but either way, this has been a heck of a game so far. An interesting one. Something we've not seen before. I can tell you that much. Now there's that Imperial Age for Beastie. Just a couple more villagers going down. Kilkardi, I don't think Kilkardi knows about the trade, right? I don't think he knows about water trade because he's going for the villages. He's kind of patrolling the wood lines because he'd be worried about Beastie getting wood, but he's got plenty of wood coming in. Wood is not his problem here for Beastie today. The market will be taken. Now, the problem is for Kilkardi is that he can't really go on water, right? Because look at the patrolling from Beastie with all these military ships. It makes it almost impossible. I mean, the only potential thing he can do is maybe get a keep, like near the shoreline, and that'll secure the position maybe a little bit. He might lose villagers doing that to the galleys, but if he can get a keep up, then that will be really, really helpful to re-establish himself on water. But it will be tricky even then. Now, Kilkardi does have 4 relics as well, bear that in mind. It's quite significant. But I guess it doesn't really matter when you've got all this trade going. I mean, if you look at Beastyqt's eco, still ahead by quite a large margin. Oh, cannon trying to take out the galleys. Isn't going to manage it. He might lose a cannon. That's actually quite expensive to lose. Continuously patrolling, always keeping an eye out with those military ships. Let's just see how much trade now Beastie has got. 29. Holy moly. That's pretty bad for Kilkardi in the way of like eco deficit. I think I don't know. I wonder what I'd love to know what they're thinking. I'd love to know what Kilkardi's thinking. Yeah, he's trying to get that keep, right? We talked about how that's the option that they can do, and he's going to get an outpost for some vision, but it's been denied for now. The Carrick managing to do a lot of damage. Holy moly, this guy's a beast, an absolute beast. 9 tiles range. Yeah, he's struggling here, Kilkardi. He can't establish himself on water. He gets a culverin, but the Carrick, I'm not sure if it outranges the culverin. How many tiles of range does this guy have? He's actually got 12 tiles range, so he should outrange it, but oh, he's lost it. He's lost it. That's pretty rough. Oof. There we are. Not enough to one-shot it though, I'm afraid. With the culverin, you're gonna need 2 of those guys to take care of it. How many traders you got now, Beastie? 32. Look at the eco. Look at the gold there for Beastie. Look at the bank of gold. 4,000 gold. Now the question is fish. Like, I guess food is a problem at some point. Like, it's not like he can replenish this, right? And it's not like he's got farming real estate, which obviously Kilkardi will have. So I think really the only win condition for Kilkardi is just to make sure Beastie can't land back again. maybe re-establish himself on the water. I think a Beastie at this point is just gonna... He's just gonna continue to build docks, right? So his opponent can't. But a couple of culverins. Now dishing out damage. 3 of them. Should be able to range the Carracks even now. That could be an option. Getting Carracks and then getting villagers to build a dock. But we'll see. He does need vision as well. Takes out 1 Carrack. But Beastie with the full water supremacy. Not enough to one-shot actually 3 of them. Right, well, heading into almost the 26th minute mark. You guys got to predict who's going to win this and how. Chemistry coming in. Increasing the damage of gunpowder units by 20%. Or maybe you might head onto the land and get some hand cannoneers, but you're still struggling for wood, food rather here, Beastie, actually. That's probably the main resource that is lacking. But he might be able to buy it, to be honest. The amount of gold that he has. He does have a dock up now, kilkardi, but the Carrack's going to take out a lot of the Carracks. The culverins, rather. He's only got 1 culverin left, and I think that dock won't last for much longer. Oh, that's the problem. He almost managed it, but no keep. And the culverins have been shot to pieces. I guess it came down to movement speed, right? The Carracks just lowered down the distance between the culverin and itself a lot more quickly than the culverin could back off. And he does lose that dock there, kilkardi. Yeah, I mean, kilkardi's just paranoid about the wood, right? Trying to get an outpost for some vision, but I think he doesn't realise maybe that there's no problem for Beastie on wood. It's more food. Now at some point, Beastie's going to have to prep and go back on land. These 2 transport ships might be exactly what he needs to do just that. These guys. I wonder who's got inside there. He's moving somewhere with the transport ship. Where's he going off to? It's not entirely clear. Just refreshing that lumber camp as you would. But I wonder what the game plan is for kilkardi. I really do, because he's struggling to get any way through, like, any progression in this match. But he is trying to shore up the water, though, the shoreline, with the cannon placements in the outposts. But the Carracks with their large range is dishing out all sorts of damage. Yeah, the outpost just can't survive. That could be a distraction. It is a distraction. Beastie coming in the southeast, just pressurizing, making kilkardi thinking, well, that's where the action's going to be. But here it is. It's actually on the west. He's going to go for siege workshops, and that'll be, you know, useful to spend the wood and the gold that he has. Just plenty of. I would love to see Beastie maybe buy a keep, actually. If he can protect this area, I may even just mine it, to be honest, but it'd be quite nice to see a keep just to protect this landing, because that's what he's going to need to do. If he can protect this area and not go noticed for quite some time, produce some units, he could just snipe his opponent. And when you can factor in, like, the resource bank, the trade has been so strong for so long for Beastie. Yeah. Oh, he didn't actually have a market, so he's going to go for a market first. Maybe buy that. Yeah, he's going to go for stone now as well. Maybe buy the stone? Yeah, he just buys the stone. He just outright buys it. And now he's going to protect this landing, and kilkardi doesn't know it yet. He doesn't have the vision. Oh wait, he does have the vision. I take it back. The outpost spots it. And he spotted the siege workshop as well, so... But he hasn't reacted, it seems, so far. Yeah, he's not. He's getting distracted. The distraction has actually worked. 5 culverins wouldn't quite be enough to one-shot the Carracks, but you can see the movement speed of the Carracks. Just going to pick off the culverins. No, he can't. He's too close. He's too close. He loses one of the culverins. Might be losing more. Yeah, he loses another one. That's so painful. It really comes down to the movement speed of the Carrack there. Narrows the gap quite significantly, and too fast for the culverins to back off with. Now it's going over to stone again. Won't be too long before we can afford another keep. In fact, he's going to go for huge amounts of military production. Lots of barracks. And he's got the food, right? I think he might have potentially bought some. I mean, it's not like he's spending much. He's got 190 population. And, well, it's kind of looking interesting here. It might need to... I mean, where's all that population? That's what I want to know. I guess it's in trade, fishing ships, right? See how much trade he's got? Yeah, 35 traders. And, well, I can't quite see how many fishing ships from this, but anyway. Plenty of them. He's trying to make an edge forward on that landing with the the elite man-at-arms, but I don't know if that's enough. Not to get through the keep and the culverins, but he's going to try it. Like, the keep has got cannon emplacements. Oof, this could be rough, kilkardi. Oh, you got to back off there, mate. You can't take that. You're going to need siege. A lot of these guys are going to perish on the retreat. He's got to back off for now. Yeah, I mean, those culverins would have been better here, rather than trying to establish himself back on water. Never really got in through the Carracks. I think the crazy thing is the Carrack, actually, it feels a little bit broken in this scenario. Because there's no way that kilkardi can protect the shoreline, right? Like, there's no way that Beastie doesn't land. That's kind of crazy. There's a town centre for Beastie, and that will actually give him access to emergency repairs, I believe, on this keep, and now he's back and running on the mainland. Maybe going to recover his main base again, once again, and it's going to take into man-at-arms. And the crazy thing is that it's got so much gold here, Beastie, right? Like, he's actually got infinite gold potential. There's still plenty of gold on the map for kilkardi, but it's more in the middle of the map now. Here come the culverins. Oh, but holy smokes, that's a lot more culverins for Beastie. I mean, he certainly wins that fight for sure. Doesn't really even need to micro it. Just decent, half decent micro will do it. And he gets rid of it. Remains with 4 culverins. Snipes a couple of the man-at-arms on the retreat. Continuing the chase. Just 1 culverin there for kilkardi. He's lost so many throughout the course of the game. I was going to lose this one as well, unfortunately. Oh no, maybe not. Beastie didn't spot it. Well, that's unfortunate. Not that it matters too much. I was going to keep on the wood line, so he's re-establishing himself on wood. He might be looking to get some farms as well with these villagers, to be honest, because food is probably what he needs. Especially if he's going for man-at-arms as the main primary unit, but I guess he's getting siege as well. kilkardi just feels like he's running out of answers. Yeah, the keep is up. And the man-at-arms going to dive in. Might snap a lot of the villagers, but not without losing a lot of their health. The keeps are pretty strong. And he's got the town centre there with the emergency repairs. I don't think kilkardi can do this. He's going to dive in. He might snipe out a couple of the culverins, but he's going to retreat back to the town, to the keep, and it just feels like he's losing a lot more. He's going to go for Lance Connector, and he could probably produce a lot of these. And these guys will do a heck of a lot of damage. 60 food, 100 gold, that's all they cost. And he might just get a lot of these and just push. We'll see. I think slowly but surely, Beastie, it feels almost like he might be winning this game. I mean, I don't know. Like, it felt a little bit awkward when he lost the main base. You feel like there was no real hope, but it feels almost like he's going to do it. Heading down the southwards, around the coast, along the coast, and he's going to run into the outpost. So kilkardi will spot this. The question is, what does he do about it? Like, this is Lance Connector, right? There's nothing he can do to stop this. And all of a sudden, Beastyqt has got 67 military versus 34. And with these Lance Connector breaking through, oh, he's completely decimated the horsemen that are there. They're riding through, trying to landmark snipe. I mean, you can't landmark snipe. He's got Rennick's Cathedral on the main island, on the smaller island. The Lance Connector going to take out all the villages on the farming economy, and kilkardi can't do anything about it. He's lost. He's run out of answers on Holy Island, and Beastyqt with a crazy, insane play, which we probably have never ever seen before. We'll probably never ever see again. Hope you guys enjoyed the castle game. Take care, and see you next time.